Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video I'm looking at this. This is If from 1968, and this is a film that I've seen over the years. I remember seeing it on TV, I've seen it on the big screen, and I finally got my own Blu-ray copy of it, and I'm really pleased. Yes, so I'm going to review it for you. Right, it is 111 minutes long. Rotten Tomatoes give it 90%. I think that reflects a lot of critics who really did see this film as an important film, a film that was outstanding. I think, in fact, it's more to convince the audience who were perhaps very much unsure of this film. Maybe thought it was a bit strange in places, a bit maybe even art house. So that had a certain mystique around this film. But anyway, I'll get more into it. Now, it's based on a story by David Sherwin and John Howlett, and David Sherwin particularly had this going around quite a while, and the script went under a lot of rewriting over the years, but particularly somebody who had that experience in a public school, that it was very good, and many people see this as being very close to how it actually was. And ultimately, David Sherwin did the screenplay, and a very good screenplay it is. Yeah, so I'll talk about that one. Then, of course, we've got the director, which is Lindsay Anderson. Lindsay Anderson really became known with the film This Sporting Life. And from that, we've got this trilogy of films that he did, which was, well, it's this one, of course. We've got Oh Looking Man from 1973. And then later, right, in the sort of very latter part of his career, he did a film called Britannia Hospital. That was from 1982. And he's developed quite, in terms of a director, quite, yeah, a lot of people certainly have examined his work, critics, and looked at it, and seen that it has a certain themes running through it, and we certainly get that in this film. Yeah, it is a satire. That's what he's very good at doing. It's a satire drama, you could say, and it's very much an attack on the establishment. I think that is very clear in this film. A whole look at the whole system. It's fascinating. Well, the music is by Mark Wilkinson, who actually did quite a lot of scores, but he did The Blood on Satan's Claw, which is quite well-loved horror film. Definitely very much, and there is a release coming out of that. I think that next month. It's in March, I'm sure. This There's a special release coming out, and that's in there. Anyway, I've just put that in. That's the music. But there is a song that is played quite a lot, and it's very effective in this. This is the Santos, which is like a Catholic sort of thing, but it's done with an African beat, and that's from the Missy Luba. Yes, I know what you're saying, but it's very distinctive, this song that is played at various times throughout. It's very good. I really like the song. Yeah, but it's a Catholic religious kind of thing, but done in an African way. Yes. So, the film cost $500,000 to make, and it did make a profit of $2.3 million. But I think that was a very slow over time money that it's made. At the time, it wasn't seen as a success at all. So, box office, people were not that enthusiastic about this film. But there we are. Now, there's a lot of locations are used as well in this film. For instance, director Lindsay Anderson used his own school that he'd been to. You see, they're all linked, aren't they? He was at Cheltenham College. They did quite a few scenes, but I don't think he quite showed them the proper script. He said apparently there was a dummy script which they used, because if they'd have seen the real script, they perhaps would not have been quite so welcoming into the school. And then we've got things at like Alderman School, Elstree, yeah, which is close near the studio. Then we've got Packhorse Cafe, which isn't there now. That's been demolished. That was near the A5 on Watling Street, Kensworth. There's quite an interesting scene in the film which involves that cafe, which was actually quite controversial with the censors. And that's in there. And then we have got Cavan Manor in Beddington. This was another important scenes in this film of the interior mixing it all up with the public school, so we get that. And then we've got there's the motorcycle scene, and that was at Broadway Motor Company in Wimbledon, which is interesting as well. Now, before I get into the cast, there is one, I think, an important part of this film, which is often being pointed out, and I remember seeing it and wondering why it had this. The fact is, the film sometimes is filmed in black and white, then it's in colour. Now, there was a myth going around that it was all done to save money, but that now has certainly been shown not to be. The director actually liked seeing the contrast, and also initially it was done because it's from Lindsay Anderson's from a documentary making background, and he wanted some of that effect as well in the film. Now, there is, when you've got a lot of colour, there is a lot more time needed with lighting and that, and he wanted to get on with the film because he was certainly they were on a tight schedule, and so they filmed in black and white where you don't need the same lighting as you do in colour. But also he'd apparently seen this as an effect in films of switching between black and white and colour, and he quite liked the idea to do that, and there it is. That's why it's there. That's one thing you learn. Anyhow, let's get on with the cast. We've got to talk about him because it is an important film for Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm McDowell plays Michael or Mick Travers. He's totally dominates this film, and I can see why Stanley Kubrick um, cast him in Clockwork Orange on this film, definitely. Um, and it's his debut as well. Absolutely amazing. Apparently, the stories what we get, how confident he was, and really how good he was as an actor, and it truly is in this film. Um, so when you look at his career, Malcolm McDowell is a real proper legend, and the amount of work he has done is unbelievable. It really is. But I would say this film is important, and I think he recognizes that very much so. In terms of what it led to in terms of Clockwork Orange, which Clockwork Orange stands out so much. Now, from this film is often seen as part of a trilogy, and in 1973 there was Oh Lucky Man. Then, in 1982, Britannia Hospital, which again Malcolm McDowell is in all those films. But you know, his career is amazing when you look at what he was in. Obviously Clockwork Orange is the main sort of thing that stands out. But films that I've really enjoyed him in Time After Time. Wow, Time After Time is such a great film. He was also in, I think some people forget, the notorious film Caligula from 1979, which turned into a bit of a naughty film, as we might say. It became a full-blown porn film. But that's a notorious film, and a lot of actors were involved who didn't realise, I don't think, quite what was happening. And I love Cat People. He's in that. Cat People is a remake. It's a great film. Natasha Kinski in that one. He was also in Star Trek Generations, 1994, which perhaps I don't rate as highly. But his performance, he's in that, and that's good to see he's in a Star Trek film. But that's just so much. You know, I could even talk about his TV appearances as well. Absolutely amazing actor, and he brings so much to this film. Absolutely, just outstanding, his work. Then we've got Richard Warwick as Wallace. Just a couple of films that really stand out. Was Nicholas and Alexandra 1971 and Sebastian 1976. I think tragically he died quite young and didn't really have a big career in terms of films. There was stage, I think, and some TV things as well. And then we've got the the main female in this, and there isn't that many women, is Christine Noonan, who played the girl, and she's only known as the girl. We don't know her name. And she made an appearance, not a big appearance, in Oh Lucky Man, of course, 1973. But it seems that she didn't really have a big career in acting, and that's it. That's what really stands out. Then we've got David Wood, who played Johnny Knightley. He was in Tales That Witness Madness, which is an anthology horror film. It's not Amicus, though. In Ace's Eye from 1976. But he was really as much as an author, producer, and director. That was his thing. And then we got Robert Swan as Roundtree. He was in The Creeping Flesh. Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, 1973. He was also in North Sea Hijack, 1980, which is quite a popular film. I think it's Roger Moore, I think, in that one. lots of TV, a lot of TV things, yeah. Um, and then we've got an actor who you recognise straight away. That's Peter Jeffrey, who plays the headmaster. He's had a massive career. Beckett, 1964, he was in. Out of 1,000 Days, 1969. But here we are. Hammer. He was in Countess Dracula. Yes, 1971. He was in the Abominable Dr. Fives films, 1971. And the Rides Again one in 1972. He was in Oh Lucky Man. It's funny how they all pop up in that. Britannia Hospital. He was in that. So he was in the trilogy as well. And then, of course, you know, I'm a Doctor Who fan. He was in Doctor Who, Androids of Tara, the Key to Time series with the wonderful Tom Baker, Fourth Doctor. That was from 1978. Wow. Fantastic. Love it. And then we've got Arthur Lowe, who plays the housemaster, Mr. Kemp. And Arthur Lowe is just Captain Mainwaring, or Mannering. Captain Mannering, yes, from Dad's Army. And that, of course, ran from 1968 through to 1977. He just made the role. That's what he's famous for. But he's in here. Yes, he's in this film. Yes. Then we've got another actor who's one of the boys who you might recognise, or perhaps you won't, because he's only young in this, which is Robin Asquith. Robin Asquith had quite a big career, really. Still going, as far as I know, as well. Where shall we start with him? He was in Tower of Evil, 1972. Yeah, horror. And he was in The Flesh and Blood Show, 1972. But he was in Carry On Girls, 1973. Yes, he was in that one, the Carry On Girls one. He was also in, I keep saying it, Britannia Hospital. That one pops up so much. But really, he was well known for the Confession films. He did Confessions in 1974, 75, 76, and 77. They were immense box office hits. Massive they were. Anyhow, that's it. I think that's it. I think I could go. There is a big cast, but there's so many that gone forever. But then just what I've pointed out. So really, I think I've given a lot of way, but I'll just give you just a very brief idea of what it's about. You might have guessed it's a satire film, and it's about an English public school. And we get inside and we see it in various chapters. That's, again, another interesting part, the way the film is put into various chapters. And we see life in the public school. And there's a lot, there's the military side as well. We see all these cadets and the influence, and we learn in a way that these people are being trained for the leadership of the country. You know, these are all people, kids, who the parents are very rich and got plenty of money, and they send them away. They don't want them at home, do they, these rich people? And that's their thing. They've got to go in this public school system, and it has its own ways and its own rules. And it's, you know, when you look at it, you think, thank God I don't go to a school like that. because it's almost like an alien thing now when we look at it. But it was an important part of the rituals, and the way they're educated. It's all part of how they were. And what is brilliantly done is that we've got the rebels, and they're who lead the whole insurrection against the whole system. This is what the film ultimately, and the ending is something you never ever forget. As soon as I saw that ending, I loved it. I loved it. He was cheering him on, but oh yes, the ending is fantastic. It's one of those great moments, and this film is just outstanding. I mean, it's something that you could just talk about and talk about. It's an important British new wave cinema. It belongs to that, definitely, and its influence on other films, and its 1960s, and it's a very 1960s look at the establishment and how the world is changed, how the rebellion, which some people say, and it's probably true in the whole sort of things, in the 1950s, that works its way right through the beatnik revolution. Then there's the kitchen sink dramas, which are different from this, but which are another part of the cinema. The whole sweep through the British cinema, and this film epitomizes that. You can see the influence on it, and it's amazing to see this, and it just works. It just works well, and I love it. I had to get this film, and I'm so glad I've got it. I'd almost forgotten about it. Well, I haven't forgotten about it in terms of remembering it and the amount of times I've watched it before. But then I suddenly realized I haven't got it in my collection. Why? Why haven't I got it in my collection? So I got it. And I'm so pleased because this is a good special edition. The amount of extras on this is unbelievable. I'll just show you it. Look, this is it. The extras on here are wonderful. There's the back as well. It's this Masters of Cinema series. It is one, and this is just fantastic. I think this is Eureka. Yeah, this is Eureka. I mean, look at this. I did show you it on the unboxing, and I say there's this book as well. And the book is just, I mean, wow. It's just such a breakdown of this film when you watch it. I love it. I get so absorbed in watching all these interviews and everything. And they're all on here, the extras. Absolutely fantastic. It really is. Highly recommended. This is, to me, is an essential piece of British cinema. You know, it all fits in. We've all got so much going on in this decade, the 1960s, and this is another part of what is going on. Yeah, great film. And that's it. I better shut up. I've gone on a bit too long, I reckon. Anyhow, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and we'll let you know when I put out these videos. And have a look at the playlist. You see what else I do. Also, if you like this particular video, give it a like, because then it gets it out into YouTube, and hopefully other people might enjoy it, or perhaps they won't, but you never know, dear. But yeah, if you've got comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments. I do fantastic. I'll answer all your comments. Thank you so much for, if you do put any down as well. And to say, all cost note, you can't say fair or not. So, all I gotta say is, I'll see thee again.